Why women stop initiating sex, even when they're interested in sex. There's a quiet confusion that creeps into many long-term relationships, often whispered in men's circles, murmured in therapy, or vented in frustration behind closed doors. She says she still loves me. She's still attracted to me. But she never initiates sex anymore. To many men, this shift feels personal, like a rejection. To many women, it feels too complex to explain in one breath. And to both, it often goes unspoken, until it becomes unbearable. Let's break it down. The myth: if she's attracted to you, she'll want sex all the time. Here's what many of us were taught, directly or indirectly. Desire equals action. If she finds you sexy, she'll jump your bones. Right? Wrong. Attraction and arousal aren't the same thing, especially for women, and especially for women in long-term relationships. A woman may very well admire your body, love the way you smell, and fantasize about you, while still not initiating intimacy. It's not always about attraction. More often, it's about emotional context, erotic safety, internal pressure, and deeper unspoken needs. 1. She's tired of being the sex manager. Here's a truth few men talk about, but every mature woman quietly knows. She's tired of being the one keeping the erotic flame alive. In far too many relationships, women end up managing the emotional and sexual energy, booking the dinner, sending the naughty text, picking the lingerie, initiating the kiss, setting the tone, making it happen. Over time, this doesn't feel sexy. It feels like a job, like she's the unpaid event planner for your sex life. It's not that she doesn't want sex. It's that she doesn't want to feel like it's her job to make it happen every time. When she starts pulling away, it's not rejection, it's a silent plea. Please seduce me. Make me feel wanted again. And no matter how confident or sexually liberated she is, constantly being the initiator chips away at her own arousal. She doesn't want to work for passion. She wants to feel it coming from you. Mature men who understand emotional seduction know this. They flip the script. They make her feel pursued again, through intention, attention, tone, energy, and presence. No touching required. It's in the way you lock eyes and hold them a beat too long, the way your voice drops when you say her name, the way you see her, not just as your partner, but as a deeply sexual woman deserving of being wanted. When she senses that, her whole body responds. Not because you touched her, but because you finally made her feel like the one being touched by your desire. That's real seduction. That's the emotional foreplay that lights her up long before clothes come off. 2. She needs seduction, not scheduling. This is where so many long-term couples quietly lose their spark. Sex turns into a routine, a box to check between dishes and deadlines. It's penciled in, squeezed between obligations, done quickly, without build-up, and while that might work for practicality, it starves the feminine erotic spirit. Mature women don't just want sex, they want seduction. They want to feel chosen, teased, moved. They crave that slow burn, the kind of mental and emotional foreplay that makes their body ache before you ever touch them. When sex becomes robotic or predictable, it disconnects them from the very energy that inspires them to initiate. A quick "wanna do it" isn't foreplay, it's scheduling. And when that's all she gets, her eroticism goes dormant. Not because it's gone, but because it's underfed. Women, especially those who are emotionally attuned and sensually intelligent, need atmosphere, tension, playful energy, suggestive looks across the room, whispers that linger, moments that build. You want her to initiate again? Start seducing her outside the bedroom. Make her feel like a woman, not a task to be checked off a list. Flirt with her thoughts, light her up mentally, create moments that remind her she's still deeply desired, and watch how naturally she starts reaching for you again. 3. She's waiting for you to lead, and doesn't want to beg. Here's a truth that lives quietly in the hearts of many women, especially those who've been around long enough to know their worth. She doesn't want to beg for intimacy. She's not going to keep initiating when it feels like she's the only one showing up to the dance. At her core, she wants to feel led, not dominated, but desired and guided with presence, intention, and emotional clarity. That doesn't mean she's passive or lacking libido. It means she wants to feel your masculine energy leaning in, not standing back waiting for her to carry the erotic charge every time. When a woman starts to feel like her efforts to initiate are being met with lukewarm responses, indifference, or outright rejection, it chips away at her confidence. Each ignored flirt, unanswered touch, or distracted shrug makes her feel more exposed and alone in her desire. And over time, that becomes too painful to keep risking. So she pulls back. Not because she doesn't want sex, but because she's tired of feeling like she has to earn your attention. Mature men who understand this dynamic step into the lead not with force, but with focused energy. They initiate emotionally, erotically, and physically in ways that say, I want you. I'm not just here. I'm engaged, present, and taking the wheel. When she feels that, initiation stops feeling like begging and starts feeling like mutual, electric play again. 4. She's afraid of rejection too, and she feels it deeper. Rejection doesn't just bruise male egos. Women feel it too, often more deeply and quietly. When a woman musters the courage to initiate intimacy, especially in a long-term relationship, it's rarely casual. She's putting her vulnerability, her body, and her desire on the table. So when that moment is met with a distracted "not tonight," or worse, repeated indifference, it doesn't just sting, it spirals. She doesn't tell herself, he's tired. She tells herself, I'm not desirable anymore. I've lost what made me attractive. He doesn't want me. That one brush-off becomes an echo in her mind, whispering doubts every time she thinks about reaching for you again. So she pulls back. She goes quiet. Not because she doesn't fantasize about you, she might more than ever, but because her silence is now a form of protection. She waits. She watches. She hopes you'll notice the shift and reach for her first. And all the while, she carries that invisible bruise, where her confidence used to live. Mature women may be experienced, confident, and self-assured in so many areas of life. But in love and sex, they still long to be reassured, to feel seen and wanted. And when rejection hits, even subtly, it can bury that longing under layers of self-doubt she's too proud or too hurt to speak aloud. 5. She doesn't feel emotionally safe, even if she feels physically close. Here's something seasoned men eventually learn, often the hard way. A woman's body may be in bed with you, but if her heart and mind aren't, her desire won't be either. For most women, especially those with depth and maturity, sex is never just about the physical act. It's emotional, energetic, even spiritual. You could be lying next to her, naked and touching, but if there's emotional distance, if she feels unheard, dismissed, judged, or like she's walking on eggshells, her arousal flatlines. You might interpret her silence or withdrawal as low libido, but often it's something deeper, a lack of emotional safety. She's holding back not because she's not attracted to you, but because there's a silent wall between you, built brick by brick from unspoken resentment, emotional neglect, or past conflicts never truly resolved. Mature seduction means creating an atmosphere where her nervous system relaxes, where she feels emotionally held, not just physically desired. When a man makes her feel safe to express, to unravel, to be raw without being punished or shut down, that's when her sensuality comes back online. You want her to initiate sex? Start by initiating real emotional connection. Not a performance, not manipulation, but the kind of grounded presence that says, I see you. I hear you. I've got you. That's the foreplay most women crave, far more than a hand on their thigh. Conclusion. It's not that she doesn't want you. She just wants more than you think. Women don't stop initiating sex because they're over it. They stop because they're overwhelmed, emotionally disconnected, erotically uninspired, or quietly hurt. If you're with a woman who still lights up when you connect emotionally, who still flirts when you're playful, who still melts with your full attention, the desire is there. You just have to meet her where she is now, not where she used to be. Give her space to open. Give her presence to feel safe. Give her energy to respond to. And you might just see her initiate again, not because she feels obligated, but because she's turned on by the real you again.